Well, good morning, everybody. It is Monday morning, so it's time for Monday Motivation. Hope you had an awesome weekend. I found a video of a local restaurateur here in the St. Paul area, Brian and Sarah Ingram, who opened up Hope Breakfast Cafe and Bar in St. Paul. And for those of you who know it, it's awesome. They're opening up other restaurants and own a couple of different ones now actually around the state. So I found this video. This is from River Valley Church here in the Twin Cities, and their story, Brian and Sarah's story of during COVID, and what happened. So the motivation for you, I stick around and watch the video, but the motivation for you based on their story is when you sense you have a calling that you just know you have to do something, take first steps and move toward that goal. You'll hear that very clearly and an amazing story of what happened to them. So happy Monday. We'll see you next week. Watch this video.
We were really close to finishing Hope. We were probably 2 months away from opening. I was living a great life. I was making probably the top 10% in America, and one day that changed. COVID became this real thing. I was sitting downstairs and I was praying about it. God said, we're gonna have a story to tell. I knew what he wanted me to do. God kept saying, give it all away. I told Sarah, I'm like, we have to shut down. We have to close our restaurant and turn into a community kitchen full time. I don't know how we're gonna pay for it. Don't know how we're gonna lay off all of our staff. Don't know how we're gonna do any of it, but we're gonna do it. And I literally thought we were gonna go bankrupt. I'm Brian Ingram, owner of Purpose Driven Restaurants, and we're in Hope Breakfast Bar here in St. Paul. Sarah and I saw the need, the schools had started closing down, so everybody was talking about how these kids weren't being fed, so we decided that we were gonna try to just feed those kids. So I did a post on social media and we just said, any family in need can come get a meal. That Monday, I think we were at 10,000 requests. We had food in our restaurant, we had food on our shelves, so we were able to give that away relatively easily. But that food, when you're talking about those numbers, it was gone within days. Had no idea what was gonna happen, how we were gonna get through it. Every day, Sarah and I would just pray, and it was just so crazy how faithful God was. Like the second one provision would run out, another provision would come in. Every restaurant around us called and said, we saw what you were doing, can we bring our food over? So the semi would show up. Every day we had no idea what we were cooking, it just stuff would show up and that's what we would cook. That only lasted a few more days because at that point we were feeding, I think, 2,000 or 3,000 people a day. We were down to nothing, and the mail started coming. A check would show up and literally in an envelope, and there was no return address, there was nothing. And it was $20,000. We're like, we can go for another 2 weeks. We can go for another 3 weeks. We would be at the end of it. We can't make it. You lean into your faith and God's like, I have a way. I have a way. The mandates came off. We opened our restaurant and it was just crazy. I mean, lines after lines after lines. So now our business tripled in volume. During the middle of a pandemic, we opened 6 months before that. We had an annual sales of whatever it was, $500,000 or something like that. Here we are, 2 years later, we have north of 12 million in annual sales. We've been able to help a restaurant overseas, and this cafe only exists because of the outreach that River Valley's doing and what they're doing with Kingdom Builders. We got there and we decided, you know what, we can help pay for all of the restaurant equipment. It's not our money, and that's how we look at it. It's God has blessed us in ways that we've never even dreamed about, and it's His. So when it's His, it changes everything.